All right, we are recording. Welcome to Team Courageous training today. I'm so honored and I am so just humbled by the opportunity to just share a little bit about just this amazing topic, the big V. So it's funny, it's just a little hook, but I am Rachel Frederick. I joined almost about 10 months ago. I don't know if a lot of you know me, but I have struggled and I've had success. Before I found Beachbody, I was a dance coach. So for most of my life, I was a creator, I was a director, and I was pretty much the positivity police for a bunch of teenagers. So I was their biggest cheerleader and motivator. And so no wonder this found me and found a way into my life. Typically, I sought out a way to make someone's day better, whether it was something I could do for them, a task that make them, their job easier, or just something beautiful in their life, like a painting. But my goal in life has always been to, when I meet someone, to make them smile and to leave feeling good about themselves. And I think that pertains to a lot of women in this group. So needless to say, when I found Coco, our souls immediately clicked, and pretty much any lady I run into in our group, there's multiple levels of, connection. I'm going to do a little shameless plug for Summit, because for me, Summit was life-changing. And this is where I'm getting kind of part of today's training, because there's so much that I wrote down in this book that I have yet to implement. And so by arranging these trainings and developing them and digging really deep into them, it helps me to learn it, to grasp it, and to share it with you, so it's not just lost and kept in this notebook forever, right? That happens a lot to us. So Summit was life-changing because in a way it was kind of like an out-of-body experience. I was sitting there and it's kind of like, oh, they say you could be successful. I mean, I'm a new coach, they say if you share, they say there's this. It was kind of that proof, like slapping me in the face, like, this is a thing, woman, like, take grasp, go for it. It's kind of that way we get all crazy about like Lululemons or like pumpkin spice. Like, people just get on the train and they go for it. And I never really was all about like a hype girl, but Summit solidified me being a hype girl. Like, there was no denying the message. There was no denying the proof that this changes people's life. So one, make sure you buy your Summit ticket, because when I was sitting there, literally the women walking across stage, I was like, that could be me. Why am I not her? Why can't I be walking behind her? And really, it's just, they're doing the same things every single day and changing lives. I'm going to share my screen because that's just how I like to do things. But I titled my training today, The Big V, because it's not what you're thinking, but for a lot of us, this coaching thing, this venture, is probably just as uncomfortable as that one. So my inspiration is coming from Melanie Mitro. She gave a presentation at Summit, and it really stuck with me. If you had not seen her training, Google that on, go to YouTube and look up her main presentation that she gave. Her main 3 points were: Facebook is not your business, you are. You need content and value to make impact, and you must have selfless ambition to make this a success. So that really inspired me in this training today to be able to like give you value and to bring meaning to this. So we're going to talk some B words. I'm going to share my screen, and then we are going to get down to business. Let's see, optimize, desktop. Let's see, share screen. Can you see my screen? Good. Okay, I'm going to expand. See, I got my power hour schedule on there. You shouldn't be able to see me, so we're just going to kind of like go through what's happening. Okay, the big V. We're going to talk about discovering your value, authentically sharing you, and how that's the magic. So you're this coach. You come in, you're like, yes, you take pictures, you feel confident, you you are all about the fitness train, you start this home workout, you have a transformation, and you begin to share that. And it becomes a thing you're posting about, right? The 4 vitals. And so we start to share our balanced eating, our nutritional choices that we make. You start to change how you're growing, how your heart is changing, because we're doing personal development. You're showing you're changing, you're showing your growth, you're showing everything about you on your social media. You are engaging with people, you're becoming social, you're starting to invite them. So now this thing is in your life, and this is what we are. We're doing these 4 vital behaviors. But at the end of the day, how long can you keep sharing about just that? That will only last you so long. People will only watch you work out, posting your sweaty selfie, your salad bowl that looks the same because it's kind of easy, right? Sharing about your personal development, seeing the changes. Like, you can only share about that so much before it kind of gets drab. I mean, it's never quote unquote boring because it's our life and we want to share that, but how long can you keep sharing about that? So I want to challenge you today to really work through this with me, because we're going to do some like workshopping time, and really think about the V's. So part of you is, so you come in, here's your V, and you have a vision. And so what that becomes is, instead of just you doing that, you are going to start to develop the pieces of the puzzle that you can share in your life to have this vision of what you want to share with people. So questions like, you need to start thinking about what inspires you. So my new life inspires me and inspires others. This living a life of freedom and adventure with my daughters in Hawaii. Like, how cool is that? My dreams of living a vacation life, right? The things that repeat in your life. So my marriage is something that is very dear to me. I've been married a long time, and I feel like I have value in that, what I could share there. So also the fun hobbies that you have. So I love painting. I don't know if you follow me, but I love painting and being creative. Anything that's graphic, sewing, just those are the things that make up me. My shortcuts, I know a lot of great tips on the computer, digital ways to do things. That's part of me that I love doing. Think about what your perfect day would be like, surrounded by family and friends, whatever that is. Also, if you have any training or background knowledge, how you could use that in your everyday life and how that shows up for you. And then the question is, if you didn't have to work, what would you do with that time, right? How would you spend your day? And that is your vision of your life. Another thing to think about is there's this moment in time called the genius time. And that's when you're doing something and you don't even realize that time has passed. I could literally be painting for 3 hours and have no clue, because it's my genius spot. It's where you do your most deep internal time, when you don't even realize that time is a factor. So try to recognize those things in your life. And we're going to work together, and we're going to answer some of these questions. So what I want you to do is I want you to actually make a triangle on your box. Karina, if at any time you don't see me, just like unmute yourself and let me know. If this goes weird. There's a triangle, and I want you to just simply divide it in like this on the screen. And in the middle is you as a coach, right? The 4 vital behaviors, how you live your lifestyle. And then in these, look at that, the alarm for right now. In the outside corners, I just want you to come up with 3 things using this list for the vision of your life. What are 3 things about you that are special and unique? So here's the rules. No vital behaviors, no generic kids or momming. So the only exclusive is to that is, let's say you have a special needs child like Coco, right? You would be able to share Capri's special illness, because that is a huge area that you could reach people. So you can't just have general, I'm a mom, right? Or I have kids. Like, if it's very specific, and then be specific. So that's the only way you can use like your kids or momming. Because we all know that like hashtag boy life or hashtag girl life is a no-no like hashtag to use. So anyway, those are the rules, okay? We're gonna do 3 minutes, and I want you to brainstorm your 3 outside corners, okay? I'm going to drop this down a little so I can see you girls here, and I'm gonna put a little timer on my phone, and I want you to do 3 minutes and figure out what those 3 things are for you. Ready, set, go. And I'm gonna try to like talk a little through so you can give you some examples of them. If you went to school, if you have special training, even if it's for a few years, if you did any clubs or activities through college, I was in the Girl Scouts, and that gave me a lot of skills, camping, right? Resources I would have. If you are a nurse, you would have lots of first aid experience you could share. If you are a real estate agent, you would have amazing tips and tricks for, you know, that would be something that you could share. What does your life entail besides those 4 vital behaviors that we share every single day? So think about that. I made a checklist, and it really helped me. As we go through, we're gonna process how that is. So don't really think about the how, think about the what you can share. Do you want me to undo this, Mars? The questions? Are you trying to read? Okay. Just if you're ready, just give me a thumbs up. We can kind of like keep going. But if you have more, obviously write them down. The more things you have, the easier it is to narrow down what your focus is going to be. Because the next thing we are going to talk about is your voice. And we're going to break that down for you. So what in your life can you share? I have moved a lot, like 30 times. So I've developed some skills, some tips and tricks to moving, packing, unpacking. You know, are you a military spouse? That's a huge thing that people connect with. Do you have multiples in your family? You know, do you have special needs children? Are you taking care of an elderly parent? You know, a lot of those things that people would relate to. What are some things that you have knowledge to? You know, you have to think about your mind as this special little treasure trove. You have about 30 seconds, and then we will keep going. And it's fine. You can always come back to this. A lot of the things that we don't recognize in ourselves, other people see. So if you need to reach out, that's what we're going to do kind of next. We're going to kind of help you through, and we'll have some time to do that. So to help you be creative and to broaden your vision of what you can share. Okay, and done. Perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure I'm on this. I'm still shared. I'm gonna open it back up. Okay, we're gonna head back down. There we go. Okay, so the next part of this is your voice. So it's one thing to have this big picture idea, but the actual tangible goods about how to make this work for you is what we're gonna break down now. So the biggest question is, how will you share? Remember that there are many platforms besides Instagram and Facebook. Last month, my Instagram was hacked. Probably was like them checking for bots, but still it terrified me because suddenly everything was gone. And I know Marcy's had her Facebook hacked, or like music being shut down. Like, it is technology. It could be gone like that. So the same way we're blessed with it being here, the same we can be horribly, bent out of shape if it goes away. So there are so many platforms, and maybe pick a media. You can develop these, you can play with them, but besides just social media, there's YouTube, there's blogging, there is, so many podcasts, Pinterest, like if you're really visual. They say that $10 million will be spent on online training. So developing some kind of content, developing a program, developing something, but figuring out how you are going to share that. Remember, your voice is also, does it sound like you? I know a lot of people, swear in their posts. If someone posts suddenly with swear words, it doesn't sound like them, people aren't going to trust the authenticity. Also, your voice is giving you a chance to really be vulnerable, to show that you are human and that you, with the good and the bad, we share a Facebook feed that's beautiful, but being vulnerable and sharing some of those maybe sticky points in our life, the more uncomfortable situations, really adds value to other people, because they see that you are real and that you are human and that you have things in your life, and it gives them confidence to show up more in theirs. I just got a message yesterday from a sweet girl, and she said, I love your feed. I love that you embrace being curvy and fluffy, and that you put it out there and you show that and you inspire me. I have no idea who this person is, but obviously that gave her some value to her life. And then also remember, in person is this you. Hopefully one day I will meet you at Summit. And if you start talking to me, I hope that your material and what you share sounds like you. These women walked into my life and Summit. I met them at the airport, and it was like I had met them already. I knew them for a year, and nothing was different. The way they laughed, the way that they, talked, the way that they just, everything about them, I knew them. So if this person on social media were to find you in Target, they were to bump into you, would you be just as genuine and authentic as you are online as you are in person? So remember that. Okay. Then also remember, what does Shrek say? Onions. We just watched that. There's more than one layer of you. And some are going to be surface layer, and some are going to be the pretty stuff, but some are going to be really deep and raw. And for me, one of my layers is that I lost a daughter at 38 weeks. And that to me is a whole community of women that need that support, to be shown that out of something like that can come triumph and love and a family. And I still believe in myself, and I'm not completely broken. But that's a whole really deep layer that, maybe I wasn't comfortable sharing before this, but now my voice has been developed and my vision is to help women, and I feel more comfortable sharing that. So we're going to do another little time segment using the visions that you just created for yourself. We're going to do an activity. You're going to share. So we're going to open the mic. We'll probably only do a couple people just because of time, but we're going to share one specific thing that you have. You're going to give an example of how you'll share it and on what platform. So I'm going to give an example for, let's just say, we'll all come back on screen, but I hope that makes sense. That way we can get an idea and help to see if you guys have that picture shouldn't be there. That's okay. Have any questions. So we're gonna do like 5 to 8 minutes. Take the first few to just like think about it. I'm gonna give you like 2 minutes and then we'll start sharing. If you're ready, like you can totally go now. So I will give you an example. Corey wants to go. Okay, go for it.
I can't say I really wrote down anything new because I've been peeling onion layers, as part of coaching. So I can share the things that, I focus on the most of. And, it's funny that you bring up that you say, like, what platform are you going to share on? Because of the fact that I don't really share about Capri's life on Instagram, because Instagram is kind of like an outlet of a fun alter ego. Like, that's Coco. And I just want a place where like I can just like be me, because I have to be at, everything else for everybody all the time. And so sometimes I'll do little hashtags or I'll do little things here and there, and then I take it really personal and I build that relationship immediately when they have a similar, thing with their child. And I go right over to Facebook and they're like, or I say like, I can tag you in a post on Facebook. But my things really mostly are Capri's life on Facebook. And for a while, I actually opened up a community about her because I just didn't want to suffocate my feed so much. And that actually just became an extra thing on my plate. And, you know, you don't want to make your plate even more full. So one of the things, you know, I talk about infertility, just trying so hard for each of my children, and, you know, the miscarriage and the heartbreak and everything that came with that. And I've always tried to incorporate that and talk about it, just because it's just always like, oh, she understands, or there's just something that you can just relate to somebody when they get that. So her life, I have infertility / trying to conceive. And then I guess I didn't really think about how much, you know, my previous, you know, being a hairdresser for so long really does play a part in a lot of posts that I talk about or share about. Even though at this point I feel like it was so long ago, it was something that I was extremely passionate about. Other little layers that are in there, like being a veteran wife. I'm always very quick to share my opinions about what military is and should be, and how we should praise them, and being a law enforcement wife. So yeah, I think like she said, having those layers, and just, you know what, if one layer just seems a little too heavy one day, just pick a different one. So yeah, that's mine.
Thank you. Perfect. Anybody else have one? An example I could give is I recently posted some inspiration, like simple little like graphics I made on Canva, because I love to do that. And so basically I created free value and said, hey, come print them out. So I love graphics. I love working with fonts, and it was something that was filling my cup. And so I posted that on a website that people could download. And so, you know, having a different platform that people can go to, it's not about creating the chasing game, but, you know, it's about creating a place that's separate than IG or Facebook, because they are connected and they could disappear. So just thinking about that a little farther, working with your coach to see if that's right for you. But does anyone else have a example? Yeah, Mars.
Okay, so I have okay, I'll just say them. Okay, the first thing is like music and dance, because I'm obsessed with music and dance, and I share that on my IG stories because I feel like that's a fun way for people to get to know me. And if they're not able to shake their booty and look like an idiot sometimes, then they're not my vibe, you know? So right. That's just me, right? So, and then I'm obviously into design and photography and stuff, and I feel like that goes hand in hand with what we do. Like you said, creating things. Like I created this nutrition, I forgot what it was called, but it was like a restaurant guide, guide to share, like to tell people what to eat, the best options to eat. So I love doing stuff like that. And then the last one is just be like helping single moms and inspiring them, because I know you said like don't put like mom, but like I feel like that is something totally different. Yes. And I feel like no one expects to ever be a single mom. And so to hear someone openly talk about the struggles that specifically go to that, I feel like it could help a lot of people that way. And that I share on both platforms. I feel like when it comes to struggles, I've been really open to sharing them on Instagram because I know that I have a lot of following that have followed me for a long time over there. So I don't mind like sharing more about that on there. So I definitely do share in both places.
Good. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
No, I think definitely like that condition of being like, that single parent, like that's a totally different thing. Not saying that mom life isn't, but we just wanted you to reach outside, right? Like, yeah, that's a huge dynamic. So that's fantastic. So as you develop, I know that Corinne has this dream of having a podcast. Like that is her sharing her voice in a different way. You know, reaching out outside of that. If you love to travel, maybe creating a blog. It's not about creating more work for yourself. It's about giving your voice multiple places to share with, because it seems overwhelming at first to just like, there's a timer, just like start, you know, sharing about coaching. And if you're in that initial segue, like that's scary enough, but eventually it doesn't fill enough. You want to engage people. You want to pull people from different dynamics from all over the world. If your Instagram reach, if someone finds me because I live in Hawaii and I'm doing all these cool adventure things and that inspires them, maybe they'll look and see that, oh, she's into health and fitness too. I really like the other stuff she posts. Maybe that will draw the connection and I'll find more people than just fit inspiration, right? Like that's great, but let's have some actual value in what we're reaching, and we're more likely to reach more people. So I'm gonna repop. Perfect. Awesome. That was our timer. Thank you for sharing, girls. That was great. Let's keep going. Let's see if that thing comes off. There we go. Okay, so using your vision and your voice, there's some things to ask yourself when you're trying to create this value is on Instagram. I've done so many trainings as I've gotten into this, and to think about a few things. Is the niche you're looking at, is it saturated already? So is there everybody doing like Joanna Gaines wannabe like DIY, right? Like there's so many things for that. And that could be a good thing and it could be a bad thing. So you have to kind of play with it. As you're peeling these layers, and if it's something you want to consistently share, you have to really ask yourself, do you have the passion to keep sharing it? Or is it kind of like surface layer where it doesn't mean as much to you, because that's going to show through in how much you're sharing it and how devoted you are to like being consistent with that. Also, will your audience appreciate it? So I can't suddenly start posting about, I don't even know, about like tennis shoes and having and buying and going shopping because I live a minimalist lifestyle. That would suddenly derail my people that watch me if I'm going to be sharing about minimalism, right? So you want to really make sure that you're feeding and filtering and funneling your people watching you into this perspective and perception of like everything coming together to be valued. And then also, is it adding value in your own life? So the shopping thing would be the same thing. I could go out in TJ Maxx and I could go shop just for it, but it wouldn't really add value to me because I know it's not who I am authentically. So as you're really starting to process these, go through and say like, this is going to add value to myself as well, because it is time you're taking away from your family, your friends, your work. When you put these things all together and when they truly harmonize, it truly becomes your true authentic self. And that in all of it is what Team Courageous is about. You're speaking from your heart. You're showing up authentically. You're giving you're giving value to make an impact. And that is truly what we're about. And I have to use this photo because it's so cute. Remember, you have teammates. Reach out to the women that are doing the same thing. If you're not sure, there's someone there that can help you. And you are the magic sauce that makes it all happen. So you are here for a reason. You are on this purpose-driven focus. This is for you, whether you're just dabbling in this or you have found that this is a huge passion of yours and it means everything to you. Bite the grit. Dig in to you and what you really are made of and start sharing that so that your followers, the people whose lives need to be changed by hearing your voice and hearing your message and hearing everything in your heart, that they will find you and they will believe in you and they will follow you. And then hopefully one day they will have the courage to join you if and when you ask them to. So you are the magic. You are the thing that's different. And just, you have to remember that every time you get nervous, every time you're unsure, every time you don't have confidence, you need to know that this is brought into your life for a reason. And you are the thing that makes all the difference. So I'm going to unshare my screen really quickly again so we can see us all. But if you want to look into this more, we have a few other resources. I did a training on building your timeline, which is more for like your coaching story, and this might help you in discovering like more things about yourself. And so that's there. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can show you this too. But I hope that kind of helped you to figure out a little bit more. This was a list I made right after Summit. I don't know if it's backwards, but basically like I was trying to figure out my whole, like my voice. So I wrote down some, some words. I said, how can I be, because to be a coach is to be a servant, right? This is a servant-based job. So words to me are helpful, informative, educational, entertaining, and motivational. So basically what I did was I broke those columns down and just started writing down how I could be those things, how I could be helpful to other moms who are moving, how I could be helpful to homeschool moms trying to run a business at home, like whatever that may be for you in your layers. How can you be a servant? How can you offer goods? And how can you just give those tidbits? People don't know that there's little tricks and tips, like shortcuts on the keyboard, right? Like when you learn that, you're like, yes, like it just saved me 20 minutes to know how to open that program or that shortcut. Help people save time and bring value to them. And eventually, when you give someone value in one area of their life, they're more trusting that you're going to bring value in that other area, which we hope that cup is health and fitness, because that's what we really are all doing together. But if you can help them in that area, it's going to balance out, and they're going to hopefully see that connection is there. You're going to develop a deeper friendship because there's more things that you relate to and that you actually have in common. And it's just going to create more value in your life and theirs. So that's what I have. I hope that was helpful. I talk really fast when I present. That's what I'm known for, is my let's get to the point.
So wonderful. So much value. I hate that it's on me right now. Let me try to switch this. I want to see everybody. I'm like, no. I'm not going to stop the recording just yet, because I wanted to talk about when Rachel and I were talking about her idea and her plan. One of the genius things that she had said is with Melissa Pro being in real estate, that she knows things that we don't. Like, she knows how to stage houses perfectly for an amazing sell. And it's like, how many people are putting their house on the market and they're like, I need to hire someone, I need to pay someone. But we have someone in our team that can show you how to do it. And we're all helping each other with all this stuff. Or not only just her team, but on the front of her Facebook, where she's like, guys, this is what I do for a living. I am, I'm a coach, but I'm also, in real estate. And I want to show you guys the first things that they look for. I want to show you what colors you need to have. I want to show you what to take down. And really, that was one of the really big things that we were talking about specifically about her, is because we felt like if she was targeting other areas and promoting other areas that she has so much value in, that the health and fitness field would be less saturated, and not just that one area. Like, okay, here comes another group coming up, let me share about it. But just like Rachel said, when they gain that trust in you as a person, they will buy from you because they've already bought into you. And like we've all heard a million times, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. And when you're going out of your way to share these tips that someone could pay her for. We also talked about all the nurses that are in our team. We have a huge, I should put up a poll one day and be like, are you in any type of health field? And there are so many nurses, and it just shows, we have a bunch of nurses, we have a bunch of current or previous hairdressers, and we have teachers. All of the, you know what all of those are? Those are people who are wanting to serve other people. I did hair because I loved seeing them feel good about themselves when they left. They walked in like this. When they left, that means selfies weren't like a big thing when I was, doing hair. But if they were, I know they'd be all on their Instagram. And it was just you catch them looking at themselves, in every mirror in the window. And health, nurses, they are literally, healing and educating. And so that is what our team is just packed with. And that is where your value comes in. Yes, it's the layers of you because it's part of you, but it's also the value that you have. And that's what, when she shared, was just like, I feel like our team doesn't know that they have value and that they're relying on the vital behaviors. That's not us. That's the Beachbody vital behaviors. You are not the vital behaviors. That's just part of your task. You have value, and that's what should be going up. And that's why I've even just kind of like, if you look at my Instagram actual post, I trickle in health and fitness because I don't want that to just be what is consuming my thing. Because truth of the matter is, if it's every other picture on my Instagram, the first thing I would think when I came to my Instagram would be like, well, if you're doing that and you're so wrapped up in it, why don't you have a six-pack? I don't want that to come across as that's completely my brand, because it's not. My brand is trying to freaking balance life, and I'm a hot mess, but I get it done. So, I just love like her really being so specific with us, and again, showing these visuals of where those layers are and what we can do. And that's the stuff to share. The other stuff, Beachbody is your source. Beachbody is where you send a link to, but these people want to know what you have to share. What did you go through? What did you learn? How did you come out of that, and all that kind of stuff. So, I know Marcy took a bunch of pictures, and I know we all have notes, and I think that one of the most empowering things that is like vulnerable, and just like I had to like really let it go over my head a couple times, but seeing how it said, do you have the passion to share it? That is so much deeper than it just reads and what it sounds like, because that's where coaches either fail or succeed. That's it. That's the bottom line. Because if you are on your hype, you're not really a hype girl. You don't really follow all the trends. I don't think a lot of our team is really like that. I don't think we're very like, oh, what's the latest trend? I'm going to go do that. I really don't. And I think that's freaking amazing. And I think that the few people that are like that in our team, they went and recreated their own team, because that's just not really what we're doing here. We're like, well, if this isn't really authentic to me, I think I'm going to bow out. Like, it's just about really doing it for us. And so the bottom line, do you have the passion to share it, is so powerful, because that's what it has to boil down to at the end of every single day. Like Rachel said in the call earlier, like when things are getting hard and you're losing rank and people are quitting, you either have the passion or you don't. You either bow out or you don't. It's why Marcy's still here. It's why I'm still here. Rachel's learning. Melissa's been a part of this forever and been patient. And we're all queens, apparently. Marcy's just laying it all out there for us. That's it. That's the bottom line. It's like it shows if you're still here, whether it is after 10 months or whether it's after 3 or 5 years, that is enough to praise, because it's like the passion must still be there, because you're like, I'm still going to try. So good, Rachel. I'm just always
thank you. I always just get nervous, so thank you for like filling in the gaps and kind of like obviously like when I am more inspired, and she's like, yeah, you're gonna do a call on that. I'm like, great, what did we just talk about?
Right. I know. Yeah, she was like drilling it all out, and I'm like, that's what your call should be. And at this point, it's like, yeah.
We need to learn to just record every conversation we have. So yeah, thank you. It's like after 10 months and struggling and, losing coaches and doing all this, it's really proves, like you said, like the passion is there. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing that you have to keep having and reigniting. So thank you so much for just your support and letting me chat today. That was
Thank you. Oh no, Melissa Perkins, right at the end.
You can still stop recording and then just say hi.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.